This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
So this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Zoe Lyons and Alan Cochrane. I nearly said Emily Dean there for a moment, just out of habit. That would have been so rude. You can text our little show on 81215. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Frank on the Radio. Email the show via the Absolute Radio website. Morning, guys. Hello,
Morning.
Zoe. Welcome.
Hiya.
Welcome back.
Zoe's
Thank
just
you.
told me that she was on in Merthyr Tydfil last night.
Yeah,
Doing stand-up comedy.
about 9 hours ago.
Oh, good on you.
Yeah,
What a trooper.
Fair play.
yeah. And then I left this morning, and there's quite a big storm coming through Wales. I can tell you that because it blew me all the way here.
Ah.
Proper dad driving on the way here.
Like it when the show and the weather overlap. This is a good bit of...
What, are you suggesting some sort of pathetic fallacy where the show is a storm?
excellent pathetic
Ending
fallacy
storm.
reference.
Well, Zoe was telling me this morning that she breakfasted on a chocolate croissant.
Oh,
And I quizzed her, I'll be honest, because I've noticed that people have started calling pain au chocolat a chocolate croissant,
have they?
which is unacceptable. I'm
No, it's a
afraid.
different thing, isn't it?
And I'd like to tell you now, I have never eaten a pain au chocolat without holding it up to my face to make it a pig's snout with it, because of the chocolate nostrils at the end. Chocolate nostrils, by the way, if there's any young kids listening looking for a name for their band, you can have that. The chocolate nostrils. And, but some people do call them
Chocolate croissant.
chocolate croissant, yeah. And of
It's the
course
wrong
you
name.
can't do that.
But the same ingredients, aren't they? Just different shape.
Yeah, but the shape, of course, is everything with a croissant, because
Is it?
croissant is French for crescent.
Of course, okay. So, and
So
that's
there you
more of
go.
a sort of dead end, a sort of pain au chocolat.
Yeah, it is. It's
Sort of a lay-by.
well, it's a snout, a
Yeah.
chocolate snout.
Which was it? Which did you have?
I had
Crescent
a-
or snout?
I had the crescent.
I wish the woman in the shop. I'm
Yeah.
not stereotyping. She mentioned that it was a woman earlier. The woman, I was like, yeah, gotta watch it. I wish she'd have said crescent or snout. Look.
Yeah.
Oh, that would have been great. So anyway, welcome to the show, and welcome to you, Al, obviously. But
Ta.
you're always around.
Didn't drive through the night from
But
Merthyr
did you
Tydfil.
have nice Easter?
Yes.
You see, I don't think there's enough of that post-Easter.
All right, you think that...
You see someone after Christmas, everyone asks you if you had a nice
Yeah.
Christmas. No one, I don't think anyone I've met this week has asked me if I had a nice Easter.
Oh. Did you have a nice Easter,
I
Frank?
did, I had a lovely Easter, thanks. I prefer Easter to Christmas.
Do you?
Less pressure on everything.
Absolutely less
Lot
pressure.
less pressure.
Yeah.
So much less pressure. And one of the more laid-back religious festivals. Obviously, religious-wise, it's still a big deal. But, I mean...
Yeah.
It's present buying is much more straightforward, isn't it? It's
Just
going
a
to be an
straightforward
egg.
egg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
You're working off a list of pretty much chocolate, aren't you?
And the pubs, I don't know how it is in the rest of the country, but in London, the pubs they're quieter on Easter rather than busier.
Not where I live.
No.
Not in Brighton.
Oh, no, everyone
No,
goes to
you-
Brighton.
yeah.
The Sunday can be a bit busy, I think. There's a lot of drinking
I
and
once-
hijinks during the Easter weekend.
I once went into a bar in Brighton over Easter. It was a Thursday, and it was quite late at night.
Maunday
It
Thursday.
was a Thursday before
he knows
the
all
sort
the
of-
terms.
Yeah. And I said to the bloke, it was about midnight, and I said, "What time do you shut?" And he went, "Wednesday."
But that is Brighton, isn't it?
Proper
Summed
Brighton.
up.
Yeah.
That's lovely. But I tell you, I introduced Mike, because I have a 6-year-old, soon to be 7. I introduced him to the egg punch thing, which I always used to look forward to at Easter, when you hold a full, still silver paper covered egg and you punch it,
Oh.
and that gives you access. Look, I don't mean those ones that open in 2 halves. You don't need to do it with them. But the ones that are a
Solid.
complete egg, well, not solid. That'd be a lot of chocolate.
That'd be a lot of punching, yeah.
So,
Sounds fun.
so I told him about it. So he didn't really hurt his hand, that was a slight. I think And again, I don't know if you know if Alan is a martial arts person.
Expert.
Not an expert.
But wouldn't you say
He's sitting here in his pyjamas with his black belt on.
the people that punch their way through 5 sheets of slate being held by a junior,
Oh, yeah. Strong junior.
yeah, you have to believe. You can't. There can be no room for doubt in that. You have to believe you can do it.
I've never really known anyone that does any slate or wood
Have
breaking.
you never smashed a slate with you?
Never smashed
I mean, why
anything
bother
with my bare
doing
hand.
martial arts if you're not going to do that?
I dropped a bowl onto a plate this week and both broke, but that's as near as I've got to it.
It's not the same, is it?
No, it's not the same.
No, but I think you have to believe with the egg punch.
Yeah.
And he had doubt.
Oh.
There was doubt in his mind.
If you doubt the second before you hit, then it's just,
And I was holding it, like the junior, like the...
Oh, yeah.
What do you call those places where people do martial arts? There's a Japanese name for it.
Leisure
Dojo.
centre.
A dojo.
Oh, yeah.
I was like a dojo junior.
Pleasure centre is also acceptable.
A dojonia, I was like.
Yeah.
And I held it for him, and I felt like a big, horrible school bully when he did it, like I'd pulled a prank. But I made a shocking Easter egg discovery, which I shall share with you after this message.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
This show has provided several civic duties over the years.
I hope so.
And as if to prove the point, we've just had an email from Simon who said, morning Frank and team, I'm packing to go on holiday to Spain this morning and I've just remembered what you said about taking your old underwear with you and leaving it in the hotel bin when you leave, giving a nice light case for your return.
And
Great
shoes.
tip.
I've done it with shoes.
Shoes as well.
on their last, their last feet.
Yes.
Not their legs.
Although didn't some overzealous hotel person then return the shoes?
Yeah, that was...
That's a problem.
Got rid of some rubbish shoes and they arrived in a big jiffy bag.
No.
Yeah.
I adopted that, the holiday pants, as Simon calls it. And then I just got a bit too trigger happy and ended up with about 3 pairs of pants. You can't just throw all your pants in the bin because it makes your case lighter.
No, you can do the thing of wearing one distress pair and wear them till they disintegrate. But I don't recommend that as an official representative of Absolute Radio. I think they're against it. So anyway, are you familiar with the concept of the Kinder Egg?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So the Kinder Egg, I always thought was a clever idea. It's just a brown chocolate outer shell, and then a white lining suggesting the albumin. Yeah,
The one.
that's the white of an egg, isn't it? The albumin.
Is it?
Bit inside the shell, yeah. Is
Yeah.
it?
No, the white of an egg is albumin.
Oh, is it?
I think I'm right.
okay.
12, 15.
There's always someone sciencey.
Yeah,
or
and then-
even a vet would know.
And then the small container that has the novelty toy that you have to construct, that's yellow, hence, it's a yolk. So it's a clever idea.
Oh,
Okay.
I see.
So I got my kid 3 Kinder Eggs. I thought that was a good balance, I want to remind him that I'm doing well without lapsing into Elton John territory.
Not showing off.
No. And his mum also got him 3, but she got him 3 things I wasn't aware of before called Kinder Joy.
Oh.
Do you know Kinder Joy? I think I used to work with a woman who had a lot of kids they used to call Kinder Joy. No, I made that up. And that's when women used to be called Joy. I haven't met anyone called Joy for 30 years. Anyway, Kinder Joy is a plastic egg and it opens into 2 halves. One half is the toy. The other half is a strange, like a bowl of chocolate goo
Oh.
with 2 orbs, 2 shredded wheat-based orbs that sit in the midst. Do you know Mad Magazine? There used to be 2 characters in a strip called Spy versus Spy, and one was very all white, and he had 2. He had shades on, and it reminded me of that. I don't think it's supposed to be a reference. But there's nothing egg-like about it.
When you say goo, did you...
The chocolate you need to eat with a spoon.
You have to
really.
eat it with a spoon.
So it's sort of melted.
You can't...
Yeah, and it's white on the top, and there's a hint of the brown underneath, but they haven't done any sort of eggshell. And the 2 brown things,
Where's the joy?
Well, exactly.
Oh,
So I investigated this because it made me angry. It looked like, if you could imagine, you know those bits in Star Wars when they're flying over a white desert and you might see like two small huts.
Oh, yeah.
It looked like that. Again, not a reference thereafter, I don't think. But I personally couldn't find the joy in Kinder
Right.
Joy. So I did a bit of detective work and was shocked at my results.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So I had a look at Kinder Joy. I went on the Kinder Egg website. Can you believe it? The first thing I got was, please begin by submitting your date of birth.
what?
On the Kinder Egg. Well, they're taking this Kinder thing very seriously.
Is it only Kinders allowed?
Well, I thought that's got to be. I am damned. I thought, if I'm going to put in my age on. And then I saw there was a Kinder Joy website.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought, oh well, I've found a loophole here. So I went to that, and what I like, but they slightly phrased it different. It opens with, "In which year were you born?"
Oh,
But basically, I couldn't get onto either website without putting my age in. Why?
for confectionery.
Yeah, confectionery website. Anyway, this is what happened. This is why there is Kinder Joy. Because Kinder eggs were banned in the USA.
Oh,
As it was, you can't, this is the law, you can't sell food with something inside it that isn't food.
That
What
is-
a brilliant law
What?
that is.
Really?
Yeah.
I
You
think
can't-
it put the Christmas pudding market to. They probably don't sell it with a coin.
No, I
in,
don't think they do, no.
Oh, yeah,
Chickens, I
that'd be
wondered
fine.
about.
Chickens?
Well, they got bones and
Oh,
things.
yeah.
I suppose it is
Still,
true. I
yeah,
lived with a
just
woman
about.
actually who used to chew the bones after a meal.
Oh,
Oh.
not chicken bones, though.
I think every bone.
No,
yeah,
a chicken bone couldn't
No,
take
no,
a good chewing. I mean, I'd chew a lamb bone, but not a chicken
That
bone.
was a marrow she was after.
Oh, no, is there marrow in chicken bones?
Oh yeah, there's
Is
still yeah, it's just
Still there's
Oh, they go
marrow.
all
a
soft
chicken
and
bone
mushy.
looks like a very low-rent Kinder egg. It's got like a white inner bit and then a sort of a dark red marrow shadow.
Oh,
Anyway, so that's, can you believe the Kinder eggs?
Oh, I can believe
A
it.
choking hazard.
Yeah.
That's a big choker, isn't it? That yolk.
that is, I mean, to not spot that, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd have
We
to
should
be.
say that Zoe said to me during the song, I wonder how many people have smuggled. I made it
Snuggled.
I made it smeeked, which was a combination of sneaked and smuggled, because snuggled obviously would have been all wrong. How many people have smuggled stuff through customs in a Kinder egg?
Mhm.
And she said you could have it within you even.
Yeah.
And I naively said, "But wouldn't the chocolate melt?" But she just meant the yolk capsule.
Yeah. The
What a
little
fool!
plastic
What
bit.
a fool I made of myself.
942 claims the only joy in the Kinder Joy is listening to Frank describe it.
It's
Don't
such-
normally read praise, but I felt
No,
like it
it's
was.
such. I was really let down by it. I think they could have continued the egg theme in some way.
But I mean, it's not really in the. It's separate. The yolk is separate to the egg. I mean, you'd have to be a complete idiot not to notice that.
Well,
If
I
you
can
just
say-
munched your way through and went,
This is not going to lead to an anti-American remark.
Maybe.
"Hey, it comes with its own yolk."
While we're on the subject of eggs and confectionery, can we not forget that the Spanish have fried egg flavoured crisps that taste exactly of fried eggs? I mean, it's amazing.
That's brilliant.
It's why haven't we got them?
Well, we've got fried eggs.
So they,
Oh, they've got fried eggs. I
They've
thought
got
this was some substitute they'd have to come up with. Oh, okay. Makes you wonder what their motivation was if they've already got fried eggs.
weird, isn't it?
But really, I was shocked by the whole thing, the whole Kinder thing.
Kinder Joy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to get one now because I can't picture what it's. I'm gonna have to open
Well,
it. And go,
when Faye goes out for the coffee run,
yeah.
we'll see if she can't find you. I imagine they're half
Find me
price. They're
joy.
half price now, are they, after Easter?
You just did a thing that I associate with posh people. You said, "We'll see if she can't find us one."
Did I?
And And
Did I say that? I don't
I
think
used
I've
to
ever
do a
said that
joke
in my
about posh
life.
people being negative because they say things like, let's see if we can't find a coffee. I used to say, let's see if we can find a coffee.
I don't think I
But
said
I want one.
Can we rewind that? I don't Can we do rewind? You'd think in 2019 you'd be able to rewind your own radio show.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
We've had a good question from Howard.
Oh, I love a good question.
Are ice lollies banned in the US? They have sticks in them.
Oh, good.
I think it's a good question.
Maybe if some part of that inner item is visible.
Protruding. If
Yeah,
there's
but-
protrusion.
There's probably some. I bet there's what they call an al fresco percentage clause.
Excellent.
Whereas if there's a certain part of it outside,
You really should
of
have had
the
a career in law, I think.
Oh, you'll be referring to the old al fresco percentage clause.
Yeah, I believe that it was in the Titanic case. In regard to the iceberg.
1/8 needs to be protruding.
Well, I think it's 2/3, isn't it, with the traditional iceberg? That's why the Titanic people, they went to court full of confidence, and then some smart aleck defence lawyer came up with the al fresco percentage clause, and they missed out. Well, do many people listening to this think that's true? Whenever I think about the Titanic, I always think, what? I always think about the money they wasted on that anchor. Anyway, so I tell you, I had a bit of a discovery this week.
Kinder eggs.
Yeah, well, that was one of my discoveries. Also, I did Zoe Ball's radio show on Radio 2. I'm told it's the biggest radio show in Europe, apart from, as far as listeners and that is concerned.
Mention that to you,
Yeah.
knowing that you do this.
No. Yeah, they're
you
just
say-
robbing my... They're holding... It was either that or hold my head down a toilet.
Yeah, what they call online weird flex.
What does that mean?
I mean, it's like a strange bit of bullying or showing off, I think.
Oh, weird flex. I like that.
I think that's what they say.
I'm going to write
Got
that
that right.
down. Is it flex as in wire?
Lex.
I've said that I can't actually spell weird. I never realised. Is it I before E?
Just put odd flex.
Is it? That sounds like a very rubbish off licence.
Odd flex.
Is I before E in weird? No, I think it's W-E.
W-E-I-I.
It's E first. Weird. Flex,
Is it?
F-L-E-X.
Yeah.
I've written it down. Yeah, well, I had a bit... So, but I tell you what, I said, what, are you going to send me a car? And they said, oh, we don't, they don't do cars. You have to make your own way there if you're a guest. I said, it's the biggest radio show in
Europe, yeah.
So I did. I was on the biggest radio show in Europe. I had to get the bus in. I mean, it's an all-time low for me. I can't believe...
having that bus pass, though, eh?
Oh, God. I mean, there was that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they thought they'd got me, but I whipped out my over 60s. And
You win in the end, Frank.
I think so.
Yeah.
But what a shocker, because we pay for... When we have guests on this show, we get them a car.
Yeah.
On this show. And then the
And what's
biggest...
your European ranking?
Well, I'll check that out. Actually, I don't know if there was a league table,
League table,
partly
yeah.
submerged. I'm not sure it'd be in the al fresco percentage. Let's put it that way. But yeah, it's made me think now what fools we've been getting people cars. But on the biggest radio show in Europe, I'm on the bus.
And it's still a breakfast show, right?
Don't get me wrong, I loved it. Loved Zoe Ball. I love. It's a pleasant experience. It was just the outer casing.
Yeah.
The albumin that was the problem. The yoke I was fine with. Can I say I was great on it, despite everything.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Have we had any answers to any of my queries?
We've had an interesting answer from, in my opinion,
I love interest.
730, morning team. My great-great-grandfather worked in the foundry that made, and I quote, the only thing not used on Titanic, bracket, no absence of the,
Yeah.
Don't call it the Titanic.
Oh, okay.
The anchor. So
That's
this
one
person-
of the things that the Titanic's got in common with the Carpenters. I don't mean the ones who made it. You know, carpenters.
Carpenters. Band.
They're called carpenters. A lot of people call them the
Carpenter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Does this happen with Eurythmics as well, or is it the other way around with
The
them?
Eurythmics.
I don't think people say
Eurythmics.
the Eurythmic, but they definitely say the Carpenters.
Is it
Alright.
the Beatles? Or just
Oh no, it is
Beatles?
the Beatles.
It is the Beatles.
With an
Okay.
A.
Hence, with the Beatles.
Oh, the Beatles.
Yeah.
And we've had an email from Marion in Brittany in France.
Oh, I was hoping you were going to say
Yeah.
Sherwood Forest.
Yeah,
Brittany.
in Brittany.
Lovely.
I'm in my shop in central Brittany in France eating a pain au chocolat.
Ah.
Don't ever ask for a chocolate croissant over here. You'll get your ears boxed.
Oh,
Old school.
Oh,
that's lovely, isn't it?
probably not by a French person, though. They're on a break.
Are they?
Yeah, I cannot box your ears now. I take a break now.
I can't believe we started with Madame Trudeau this morning, and now we're doing Zoe's French impression, which I thought was very good.
Pretty good.
If you could,
Spot
if you
on.
could see
Très
the,
bien.
if you could see the facial expression as
Yeah.
well, I mean that's the. Can I tell you something I'm worried about? I've been to 2 fish and chip shops in recent times, none of which would sell me cod roe.
Ugh.
Oh, no. No. Where
Now,
did
I
you get cod
love-
roe at a fish and chip shop?
That's what I grew up on, roe and chips. That was like a big. Remember, he was brilliant in Mr. Bean. No, in roe and chips.
I don't think I've ever had it. I'm not
do you know what it is?
certain.
It's like
I'm
a
hazy on
disc.
what it is.
It's like a chubby. The shape of it. I don't know what the geometric thing. You know, air hockey.
Yes.
If you can imagine the
disc.
puck, a
Oh,
chubby.
yeah.
If you a chubby version of
puck.
the air hockey puck.
Yeah.
Battered. It's like that. And of course, it's tiny little pink eggs.
Ew.
It's lovely.
No.
And it was absolutely the thing, roe and chips. I once had a runner. I was doing in my chat show years, my glory days. I had a runner who was quite posh. A runner is a person who goes and does all your errands. And I said, could you get me roe and chips? And he said, yes, right away. And he'd never heard of it either.
Yeah.
So he went to a local fish and chip shop. They did have it, but he didn't know what it constituted. So he came back with 7 roe and chips. I mean, a great gargantuan helping of roe.
It's probably why there was a cod shortage afterwards. All those
Because we've gone back. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that, actually. It's
It wasn't
culling.
overfishing, it was you with your 7 rows.
It was culling. But I really... I'm very, very anxious about. If I got to the point, this is when Marquis Smith died. I remember thinking I'll never see another fall gig, and being absolutely distraught. The idea that I won't be able to get roe and chips again within a couple of years, honestly, genuinely distresses me.
I think we'll get emails and text messages now saying...
Well, please, I'm looking for help. I need a helpline. Never mind email.
I think fish and
Even
chip
you
shop
two look
owners
to me
will-
like you look. What are you talking about? That
good
worries
point.
me. Come on, guys, help me out. 8, 12, 15.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
Is there any row news?
Oh my goodness, is there ever? You've lit up the switchboard with your discussion of cod roe.
The thing is with this though, this is not comedy. I really want to know what the decision making
Frank,
is.
I 100% agree. This is not comedy.
Okay.
993 has texted, and I hope this is a deliberate thing rather than a typo, but it says, no problem in the Middle Lands still. Middle...
Oh,
Middle
who's it from?
Lands.
Tolkien.
It's got a certain ancient...
Well, actually, the 2 chip shops that I tried, one of them was in Cheltenham,
Oh.
which is, not a million miles from the Midlands.
Well, this person claims we still have it in our chippy in the lovely village of Alruas. Alruas,
Oh,
just
that-
north
that
of
is a good place.
Lichfield. Keep on. Oh, that's praise. We don't read that.
Yeah, what's the chances of that being the right pronunciation out of 100?
Danny from Exmouth has texted in to say, hi, Frank and team. I run a proper fish and chip company in Exmouth. We sell cod roe, and it's still a firm favourite here. We won't be taking it off the menu anytime soon.
Oh, that's
I wonder if
good.
that's a little joke about firm favourite, because it's not, is it?
It's not very firm. You showed us a
it is
picture of
quite-
what
no,
it
it
looks
is
like.
firm.
Oh, it is firm.
It is
Firm, that's firm.
Yeah, it's firm.
It looks like fish pate.
I mean, there are too many of these, but another one that's quite detailed, 663. Frank, I'd wager the majority of chippies in Telford, Shropshire do cod roe, but definitely the following: Silverfish, Tanbank, Wellington, and ye old Victorian Friar, Furnace Lane. I think that's probably enough for now, rather
I
than
don't know
just...
if I'd go to a chip shop called Silverfish. Those are those things that run around your lino if you put the light on at night. Blimey. That's the diet section. Imagine battering one of those babies.
Poor man's whitebait. That's what that is.
Telford, if I remember rightly, was in the survey as the least religious place in Britain.
Was it really?
Yeah, so, you know.
I would have thought Brighton, where I live, would be that.
Would you really?
Yeah. I had some people knock on my door recently trying to spread the word of Jesus. And they said, can I introduce you to, the Jesus? And I said, I've had a look and I'm not very interested, thank you. And they said, could we leave you some information? I went, I've investigated and I think I'll leave it. And the woman she was on my doorstep. She just shrugged and just sighed really heavily and went, oh, we're just finding it so hard in Brighton.
Oh.
She said, why do you think this is? And I went, there's quite a lot of wind chimes and dream catchers. That's what you're up against here, I think.
Yeah,
So-
but that suggests people who believe in something other than
Something.
the physical
Right.
world.
yeah, but...
My problem with dream catchers is I'm never sure how often you're supposed to change the filter.
Yes.
I mean, my kid's got one.
Nightmare.
I think it must be... nightmares have started to filter. It must be well bunged up. Still...
952 has messaged about the Kinder eggs in America. For the last 10 years, we've risked our lives and reputation smuggling in the said eggs to the USA
Wow.
to satisfy our nephews and nieces' needs.
I think I read, actually, in my investigation, that there was a black market in America for Kinder eggs.
Well, they continue. Our stress this Easter transpired to be unnecessary when our first trip to Walmart in Phoenix revealed a full aisle of Kinder eggs and their yolky surprises.
Oh.
So it turns out it is available.
This could...
It's definitely illegal.
It could
It's
set off
legal.
a whole new Netflix...
Illegal.
In America?
Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
Walmart in
It could set
Phoenix.
off a whole new Netflix sort of
Yes.
documentary, couldn't it? Sort of like a Narcos for eggs.
Well, I tell you, it's
Kinder eggs.
It's I've looked into it. It's definitely banned there, and that's what the joy is. The joy is to get round it.
Mm.
Do they sell them beside the guns, I wonder, in the in the supermarket?
I wonder if
Walmart.
you could use one of the yolks as a cartridge in time of emergency.
Oh, maybe if you filled it with something quite dense, otherwise it presumably
Imagine
would just
being
smash.
rushed to hospital having been shot there, and they take a 3 parts that build into a small motorbike. I think that'd be smuggling at its best. We mentioned air hockey. Oh, I'll come to this in a minute. Air hockey, that's something I haven't even thought about for such a long time.
Good
I'm
game.
going to think about it now. Stick around.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
By the way, I had a letter from Tracy McVeigh. McVeigh sounds right. Who sent me a very old, well, it would have to be old because it's the Melody Maker. She sent me a copy of the Melody Maker with an interview by The Fall. I only had a quick glance at it this morning, by the way, but I already saw Mark E. Smith describing himself as a contrary swine, which no one ever says that in popular music anymore. But anyway, she said, I've sent this for 2 reasons. 1, I love you, and 2, I'd quite like to be mentioned on the radio.
Done
Okay.
and done.
Yeah.
Good.
Whenever anyone says I love you, apart from my own partner, of course, who I think said it it was the late 90s, I think of that dog on the internet that goes, I love you, I love you. Oh, it's the most terrifying.
I don't think I've seen that.
Oh man, you should look it up. Oh, get off me. Yeah, but they say they love you,
Yeah.
but yeah, they don't really.
The dogs.
The dogs, yeah. I don't know about Tracy McVeigh. She might be sincere. We were talking about air hockey, and then the producer Sarah Bishop showed me a picture of her and her dad playing air hockey in Hull, and it was on an undulating table.
What?
What? How does it even work?
Yeah, it's like
I thought it needed the.
exactly.
Yeah.
You'd think it was
Impossible.
all about being horizontal.
What,
I'm
like
shocked.
jumps on it or a scoop?
I'm
Sort of-
absolutely. It's like if you imagine playing in a valley.
football in a valley.
Well, air hockey in a valley. So it's going up the hillside and then coming back down into the dip and then going up the other hillside.
Surely
Madness.
you run the risk of losing your puck in a trough.
Yeah.
Which is not a sentence I ever thought
No,
I'd say.
exactly. I'm glad. I'm edgy that you tried it on breakfast radio. It's the only real. I've mentioned this before because it's an obsession of mine. That when we were young, we were promised by the 21st century hovercars. That was an absolute.
Definitely.
That was nailed on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now we've got. Air hockey is as close probably as we've got to it.
Well, and
Segway.
adult scooters. That's a thing now.
yeah.
Adult electric scooters.
But they don't hover.
They don't hover, but that's what we've got. That's the reality. That's the brutal reality of where we are.
What about the hover mower? How does that operate? Is that on air jets coming out the bottom of it?
It's like
No.
a sort of.
No.
I don't believe
It's
it
not
is.
the nature of hovering unless you're a
I don't think
magician.
it really hovers. I think it just sort of is moved
It doesn't.
across
The hover mower doesn't hover.
I don't think it does.
Does it mow?
I think it mows.
God, that's a real shocker to me.
It must have air that comes out the bottom. Does it? It doesn't have one of those frilly skirts on like a ferry hover, like a.
Oh, like
like a Brittany.
yeah.
ferry.
What's the thing that Christopher Cock, the hovercraft?
Hovercraft.
Yeah, yeah. It has a skirt full of
Skirt-
air.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
what has happened to all of us. That is.
Do you think they hover? I just assumed that it was that they were being
Hold on, is
manned.
there
if you
still a
will.
possibility? I was so absolutely downcast by the news that they didn't hover.
No, I think they still might hover. I think I just could be wrong.
If anyone's got a hover mower at home, let us know if they do actually hover. What I mean is, could you run a sheet of A4 underneath it as it worked?
No.
Actually, that'd be dangerous. Don't do
get
that.
ripped up, yeah.
Can I say that'd be dangerous? I don't want anyone losing a thumbnail on my watch.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We've had various scientific answers to your hover mower
Okay.
question. I said that I didn't think that it was.
You said it didn't hover.
I
plain
didn't
and
think it
simple.
was hovering. Yeah. 806 has probably provided us with the most comprehensive answer. Hi, Frank and team again. Hover mowers use the rotation of the blade to create a disturbed cushion of air that slightly elevates the mower.
So there is. It does hover.
Yeah, well, slightly.
Well, the test, I think.
Slightly.
I've always felt the test for any
slightly
hovering
elevate,
is
yeah.
the hoop passed below, isn't it? That's what magicians.
No, I
always
don't think
use.
it hovers that much.
Okay.
Chris is a product designer, he says afterwards, which
Okay.
makes him
I
sound
love
cool
the
as well.
expression "a disturbed cushion of air."
Yes.
I'm going to use that as the excuse from now on after dinner. Apologies. disturbed cushion of
504. Oh, is that the same chap? No, it's not. A different chap that designs lawn mowers for a living. Confirm hover mowers do hover. Very inefficient cutting technique, apparently.
Oh.
Who knew?
Well, the hockey, air hockey. I can't think of any other, not any arcade games, but anything else that uses that particular technology. You know, in Doctor Who sometimes, where he goes like into the 1940s, and he'll see like something and say, "Hold on, they're not supposed to have this technology
Oh,
for another."
okay.
500 years. And that's why he knows there's been aliens.
Yeah.
I wonder if aliens brought us air hockey and then and then left. We seem to have got it too
Good
soon.
theory. It's a good theory.
Yeah, it's way ahead of the rest
Yeah,
of
we're not doing anything good with it yet.
No, I mean, you could have it in a restaurant.
Right?
You just pass the food. It'd be like it would be a disturbed air version.
Like a real
of the,
high techno lazy Susan.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
The sushi wheel.
And if you could have warm air to keep the food warm.
Oh, yeah.
The hovercar, if they'd persevered with the hovercar, which I think they promised me on Tomorrow's World about 35 years ago,
Yeah.
I was thinking the other day, I went over quite a big pothole. I mean, big job pothole.
Yeah.
I feel
And
your
I
pain.
thought, the hovercar, the money they spent
Yeah.
on the technology of the hovercar, they would have saved on road repair because the roads would be in absolutely brilliant shape.
Pristine condition.
Yeah.
Somebody'd have to go out and polish the roads, though, wouldn't they? Because you'd need a very smooth surface to maintain.
The hovering.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, because I mean,
Well, I don't know. I mean, you
Air-
seem to have
air
details
hockey.
of hover technology.
I don't know, but I dare say the designers will be in touch if that's not accurate.
What I would like to know is how close have we got to a hover car? Right? I know you're not going to get one if you're doing Zoe Ball's show. But has there ever been one at these things like the World's Fair, which I don't even know what that is,
Yeah.
except there's one in an Elvis film. But they used to have a thing called the World's Fair,
well,
which I
like
think...
boats turn into helicopters. And that
It
sort of
showcased, the sharp end, the state of the art, and what was happening now. I wonder if there's ever been a hover car other than in something like Stingray.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
727 is asking the pertinent question, surely a hovercar is just a hovercraft, which do exist. I mean, I might have given it a bit of tone there.
Well, the way I was sold them is that they didn't have the skirt, so they're actually above the ground, like a magician's levitation lady.
Or that
Usually
thing
lady.
that you call Star Wars,
Yeah.
the thing that Mark Hamill drives around.
Yeah.
Luke.
Yeah.
That.
They would have wheels that came up and then flap out and then in.
Would they?
Does that make? Yeah.
Well, I suppose parking, you'd use a lot of energy parking if you left it in hover.
Yeah, you'd
Yeah.
have to stick it back into sort of wheel mode.
Also, there'd be someone sleeping under it when you got...
Yeah.
And you'd be worried about starting. If it rained that night, there'd be people sleeping under your hover car. That'd be annoying.
082, hi, just heard you mention hovercraft. Can you mention there is hovercraft racing next weekend at Allerton in Yorkshire? It's the start of the season for 2019. Very seasonal, the hovercraft racing world.
Allerton's inland, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yes, there'll be land hovercraft. You can go over the land on the hovercraft, not just
Okay.
water.
I can't sue and sigh in Leicestershire. I've got professional commitments, but I'm guessing that these guys will be free.
You
Will
can't
be,
sue and sigh? I thought you were saying
Oh,
that.
no,
I
that's
thought
their
it was some
names.
sort of legal...
sue and sigh in Leicestershire.
That's for people who spend a lot of money and then the case, it doesn't work. They sue and sigh.
No win, no fee, sue and sigh.
Anyway, I feel bad that we've been on air over an hour and a half, and we haven't really spoken to Zoe about her crazy old life because she hasn't been on the show for...
I assumed
I've
that she
been
came
here
in
for
wanting to
ages.
talk about hovercraft and Kinder eggs.
I'm very
I
happy.
wanted to talk about that
Detailed
in
cod
but
roe
eventually we've got round to let's call it the lion's share.
Oh, see what he's
show.
done there.
There's been very little going on, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell you what I have been doing. Maybe
You're
it's
right,
a
have I
sign...
got news for you this week?
I
wasn't
was,
you?
Indeed.
yeah.
God, you've changed. There's
Yeah.
very little going on.
Quiet week for me. Quiet week.
Remember, I was on the bus on my way to a radio
Yeah,
show.
but with the swings and roundabouts of showbiz, I was doing Have I Got News For You, recorded out on Thursday night, and then last night, Friday night, I was in a Labour club in Merthyr Tydfil. Tydfil.
Yeah, but what was more enjoyable? You don't have to
They
answer
both
that.
had their
I think
moments of
that's like what's
joy.
your favourite child, isn't
Yeah.
it? It's just wrong.
I've been, I tell you what, I've been adjusting to the change of the seasons and getting up a little earlier. That's as exciting as my life gets.
Deliberately, or because
Yeah.
because you get a lot of seagull action in Brighton.
You do get a lot of and right now they're quite busy. They are quite. It can sound like banshees on a night out.
Busy,
busy.
What, courting?
Courting.
Oh,
yeah. All right, I'm all right.
Yeah.
Right.
But I live in Hove, so you get a much better class of seagull where I am.
Of course.
Yeah,
Nice.
they're a bit less on, yeah. You'll find them with their head in a pot of baba ganoush.
Love baba ganoush, actually.
Oh, they love a bit of baba ganoush.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been getting up. I've been starting to get up about 6:30.
Have you?
Yeah.
Is that the age thing?
I think it might be an age thing, but
'Cause
being a comedian
pensioners
and working
are-
at night, I know you always hear these people go, I can't sleep past 6 o'clock. It's
Yeah.
the onions I had the night before wake me up. But yeah, I get so much stuff done by about 8:30, and then nothing happens for the rest of the day.
Right.
So it swings and roundabouts.
So is it deliberate? Are you setting an alarm?
No, I just wake up now.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
That is it.
Yeah, I think this is called insomnia, isn't it?
Isn't it? No, I go to sleep at night, but bing, awake.
So you're going to bed earlier?
No, well, when I'm working, it's usually quite late. It could be sort of 1, 2 o'clock, but I'll still wake up about 6.
Oh, well, then you're gonna collapse in the street,
If I'm not working,
and then
9:30
Then you
with a-
might not be such a friend of the
9:30
seagull.
bedtime.
oh, I love a 9:30 bedtime with a
Oh,
cocoa.
I'm slightly fascinated by other people's bedtimes. Every time this
Yeah.
comes up, I find it interesting.
Yeah.
Like if you've not got a gig,
If I've not got a gig,
9:30.
I can go to bed at 9:30.
Wow.
Oh, I love that. Little bit of a cocoa.
Yeah, I've done 9.
Yeah.
No.
What time do you do?
What a treat.
If I wasn't working, it'd probably be 10:30
You're
earliest.
crazy.
Wild times.
I'm a grown-up.
I know.
You two are babies.
10:30. Well, I've gone through my stay awake all weekend thing. Now,
Right.
9 o'clock.
Oh, 9 o'clock. I've just got myself some new slippers as well, and they're proper German slippers. Like, you can hear me coming from miles away. They're a solid, sensible slipper.
They've got clickable heels.
I feel like a little wood whittler or something in them. There's something really cosy about them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm still can't work out what they are, but we've got to go to a break. There might be an advert for said slippers. That'd be a coincidence.
Frank Skinner. Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
We had I was hoping we'd get, Ricky Gervais text in and say, well, I had a car when I did the Zoe Ball.
All right. I thought you were going to say what time they went to bed if they weren't working.
No, but there must be people who do get cars on there.
I think so.
You see, but I think there might be people who think they've got cars and haven't. Because I asked my management about the not getting a car on the Zoe Ball show. Mm-hmm. And they said, well, if places don't do cars, what we normally do is we organise the car, and then it's charged to your expenses.
Right.
I said, never, ever do that again. I mean, never.
Yeah.
If I have to walk.
Did you send them a photo of your bus pass?
I mean, not getting a car is a slap in the face. Paying for my own car to go and do something.
Through a third party.
I can't live with that.
No.
I've got international representation.
Yeah. I'll get you a flight to somewhere if you want.
Yeah.
I was hoping to find a message about what do you call it, the bedtimes that people have if they haven't got something on that evening, but no, it's more hovercars.
Okay.
Hi team, you laughed about hovercars needing the road smooth and polished. In Belfast, we have recently got glider buses which are supposed to look like they hover. It required miles of brand newly surfaced roads because of the bend in the middle. The roads need to be completely flat. I don't know what that means. I think it might mean the bend of the
Bus.
Oh, well, they like
Of
those
the bus.
bendy
Bendy
bus
buses.
things.
yeah.
Because they used to have buses in London that had like a sort of corrugated rubber middle
That's right.
section.
Yeah.
We used to be
Played French music as it went round the corner.
Yeah, you really want. But wasn't that a disappointment?
Yes.
That it didn't. When it braked quickly, you want. It didn't do it. That's why they became unpopular.
Anyway, they say it's really funny that they're supposed to look like they hover down the road. They then suggest that we search for images because when they began, they hit traffic lights and got stuck on the roads because they were so long. I don't know if I want to see images of crashes, but it feels like this text could be the start of
the idea that it was
serious journalism.
It was a hoax. It was a scam.
No, I think it was a thing.
No, but it pretended to hover, but it didn't really.
Oh, right, yeah.
So this reminds me of this. I went to the Samuel Beckett Festival in Skilling, and I drove down. I was driven down. They supplied a car.
Yeah.
I was driven down the high street, and I thought, God, look at all these lovely cafes, pubs, and that looked great, a real happening place. It was then pointed out to me by the driver that these were murals of people enjoying themselves that had been stuck on the inside of the windows. A lot of these places were closed. And they'd been put there because the G8 summit had been held there, and they wanted to look like a thriving community. So you got to. I mean, it's all smoke and mirrors. Northern Ireland. Is there a Northern Ireland?
You'd have to be really unobservant to notice they weren't real people.
No, you would be. It was really well done. They weren't painted. It wasn't like the Arsenal mural.
It's like holograms.
There were photos, but they honestly.
Were they moving pictures? Was it like VT, as they say in the biz?
No, but it was sufficiently made a bit. Hazy and distant that it looked like.
Some of them might have been extras, like paid proper.
I don't know why they didn't go for the G8.
Actors.
You think they'd go as far as extras, but no, they just went for the full Barack Obama, the bloke told me.
This is Frank Skinner. This is
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what we should discuss, and that is the legendary dad, Bruce Baker, who... Legendary dad. He's got 4 kids, apparently, and he has spoken this week in the news of his shock at his children finding a boa constrictor in their garden, a 7-foot snake
That's a big
in Scotland. I mean, they're not indigenous. This isn't... It's not a thing.
No.
Where are they? Where do they live?
Good question.
Oh, Australia.
Oh, do they?
Because I've encountered them there in the wild.
Have
in
you
the
really?
wild?
Yeah, in the wild.
What, Beacon?
Yeah.
Beacon in the wild?
Yeah. Camping in Australia, woke up in the morning, 2, I would say 12 to 13 foot boa constrictors mating in front of our tent.
Oh, get a room.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to say one round each leg.
No. So there.
Oh, man.
Africa, South America.
Right.
Good
Asia.
information
Yeah,
from...
good on the snake info.
Snake knowledge.
I suppose if you're called lions, you feel a certain obligation.
Be
Part of my
across all
gang.
the animals.
Well, one thing, a great quote from Bruce Baker when asked about the snake, he said it's one that can wrap around you. I thought David Attenborough now can retire. His legacy is safe. Oh, one of those! Mind you, the SP, whatever they are, the Scottish version of the Royal Prevention of
Cruelty
All right.
to...
they're not called the RSPCA, I don't think.
It's Scottish.
No, Scottish
yeah.
Protection for Cruelty.
Yeah, but
SPS.
surely they are royal.
Yeah, they just don't bang on about
I don't know
it.
why there's a separate one, but anyway. They described it as being quite thin.
Yes.
It's a snake.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say that's a traditional look.
I think they're looking at it with an expert's eye there, actually.
Oh, well.
Because a boa constrictor can be quite stocky.
Can they really?
Yeah, a bit stocky.
It depends what they've eaten.
Yeah.
Well, they reckon that he'd been straying for some time. That's what they
we all
said.
know men like that. Yeah. Who was his latest squeeze?
It's when you see them on documentaries and they've just eaten a goat and they're just sort of lying there in the shape of a goat.
Well, that's what I look naked. That's how I look. Very, very thin, and then just a lump in the middle of me where my belly is. And I always think I look like one of those. And they eat them whole, though.
Yeah. Dislocate their jaw. They take their jaw can open to the point
Know all
where
the facts
I can do
about
that.
the snakes,
I can do that at
don't
all
you?
you can eat buffet.
They're basically a holdall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
That's why they make excellent handbags.
Yeah, there's no wonder, is it?
And sleeping
huge
bags,
mental
actually. But could you... I wonder if anyone's ever been consumed by one and then got out.
Well, all right.
Oh, well, I wonder how far in you have to get before you can get out. Yeah, I would say...
If I woke up in a... Say if if I'm in the jungle, I'm going to carry some sort of knife. If I woke up and realised I was in a beacon, I could just cut my way out, couldn't I?
I reckon anything above the knee and you're in danger.
You reckon?
I reckon if you're knee
Like
deep
quicksand?
in it...
Well, now, of course, we're into the alfresco clause. This is a different thing altogether.
If you're a third already in a boa constrictor, then I think you've got problems.
Of course, the thing that's plagued me for years, because I'm imagining the digestive juices go to work, and that's how they... Otherwise, they'd have that lump forever.
Well, yeah, they get through
Yeah.
quite a lot of Gaviscon, I'd imagine. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to repeat on you. If you eat a whole goat, it's going to... At some point during the evening, you've got to... Excuse me, sorry,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
repeating.
No, that's-
Shouldn't have had that.
that's true.
Should have taken the hooves off. Oh.
But I have often thought, why don't our own digestive juices digest us?
Well, sometimes they do. In tiny... That's where you get an ulcer, isn't it? That's
Oh.
why, yeah. That's
But
why.
we're meat. I feel like it should be...
We are.
Yeah, but then if you've got too much, then you sort of... You corrode yourself, don't you?
Do you
There are
really?
various ailments where the body is attacking itself.
Yeah.
Aren't there? Various. Not just
Yeah.
my left shoulder when I sleep on it. and
Hence the saying, my
crunches it.
feet are killing me.
Yes, exactly.
Frank Skinner on
Absolute Radio.
We've actually been corrected. 583 has
What?
texted. Not Australia, Central and South America only.
Oh, that's my
Boa
snake
constrictor.
knowledge. Well, I was thinking... Python's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, and
Which-
also, can I just say, obviously not Central and South America only, because it's in Scotland.
Scotland as well.
Yeah.
Snakes are fine as long as they're where they should be. It's when you find them where they shouldn't be that they... That's when... You know, you hear these awful stories of people, like, lifting up toilet lids and there's a snake in there.
Yeah.
Like, no!
Yeah.
This
mean, if
was
you're
wrapped
in-
around a kid's bike.
Yeah, stabilisers.
What would you... I think I would have gone back in the house and you finally used that body lotion somebody bought me about 3 years ago, which I've never worked out what you do with it. Because I don't know if you
Rub
ever...
it on your body.
Have you ever attempted it, though, body lotion? You put it on and then you put your clothes on and they're just like
Oh, it's
stop.
clammy.
It's disgusting. Who would do that?
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
But if you put that on, then of course he wouldn't be able to get any proper purchase.
Oh, I see, to make yourself...
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, like sort of jellied.
To make yourself unconstrictable.
grease yourself up.
Oh.
Like, I bet they could still do it.
Do you
I reckon,
think?
yeah, I think they're that strong they could still constrict
Will
on
nothing stop them?
I'm fairly sure
you.
that...
That's what I think.
What about the national obesity crisis? That must be pushing them to their absolute limits.
It could be.
That's a very interesting survival technique, though,
Yeah,
Frank.
we're really
Just
going for it.
To lube yourself up to the point of being indigested.
Oh, I thought you meant to get clinically obese.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
And then
going.
cover yourself in moisturiser.
Yeah, I'm going to Central America on safari. I'm planning to put on at least 12 stone before I go. Can you imagine them just not being able to touch toe and tail, the constrictor?
The kids were apparently totally fine. Blasé, he said, which I like.
Yeah?
Scottish turn of phrase somehow.
You
Don't
must
know
be
why.
careful using stuff like that. He'll be tarred and feathered by the locals.
I think they've got a lovely turn of phrase in Scotland often. Blasé. I reckon that's what he said.
That's a nice blazer you're wearing.
But is the danger? I mean, if there's a snake that can bite you, obviously you want, if a cobra's outside the house.
Uh-huh.
But I always imagine it's not a quick process, the constricting.
They have those stories that they lie next to people to see if they can
I've heard
contain them,
that.
don't they?
Yeah, is that
I don't
true?
think- What, measure themselves up?
A bloke said he was sleeping. It was one of these survival things. He said, and he saw this snake, and it just lay at the side of him and extended till its full thing
To see
Yeah.
if it...
to see if he'd fit.
That's like when you park in a car and you're sort of beside a space and you're going, am I the same size as that? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tricky,
But
isn't it?
that
I reckon I
is,
can get in there. Yeah.
There's something. I mean, that one could take Peter Crouch. 7
Yeah,
foot.
7 foot.
It really could, though. Luckily, of course, Crouchy could cut his way out with his elbows.
Yes.
He'd robot dance his way out.
Yeah.
He'd make himself
But
very...
if you just get a sense of 7 foot, that'd take any most human beings.
Yeah, most, yeah.
I suppose the world's tallest man can sleep easy in Central America.
How tall is he?
Oh, he's 7 something.
Is he?
So if a boa constrictor ate the world's tallest man, the only bit that's sticking out would be his head. Of the head of a boa, that would be.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the stuff
That
of
is a
David Lynch
that's a
nightmares,
sleeping
isn't it?
bag,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that is a sleeping bag. That
And
is
also,
a-
it would look a bit like those feasts that Henry VIII had, where there's several birds all together
Oh, like a
roasted.
Caduckin.
As long as there's no novelty items in there. That's why Henry VIII never went to America. He just couldn't eat that stuff. It's totally illegal.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
When they measure you, snakes,
Oh, I thought you meant tailors.
yeah, do they like click back into the coil like those metal
Oh,
tape
right.
measures you get when you press the
or
button?
the reflective wristbands that you can get sometimes. They do that same thing, don't they?
Do you mean the ones that sort of like bicycle clips that
Yes.
you hit?
Oh, like snap over you.
Yeah, they're good, aren't
they're
they?
good. I like them.
I don't think they're that quick. The beacons.
I think they are.
You
I
think they're
think-
as
yeah.
quick as one of
I
those
think-
bicycle clips? They wrap round your leg and just click in place.
No, they can't be that fast, can they?
They look like they're slow, but they're like a sort of. They. I think in short bursts they can really
They
surprise you.
look like they're slow. What are they doing? Moonwalking?
No, it's just, well, they don't do anything for a long time.
No, but
And
that's my
then-
point with them.
Yeah.
So you
I
think
think
there's a
that's
boa
like me.
constrictor?
Yeah,
I think that's
Yeah.
like me.
like greyhounds.
But I
They
just
don't
think
do a lot
there's-
for a long time, and
They
then
don't.
they're
I've got
very,
a
very
whippet.
fast.
I've got a
yeah.
whippet.
Yeah.
I'd be more frightened of a greyhound.
Would you? You'd be
They
wrong.
jump up and bite you.
I'm pretty sure you'd be wrong, but then again, I am seeing the several text messages that are coming in of snake horror stories, and you may not be.
Okay, well, don't read those.
397.
It's going to.
No, I'm not going to read out loads of the horrible ones, but a bit of factual from Lucy. Oh, no, not from Lucy. From 397, I used to have a 10-foot boa called Lucy. You're dead before they swallow.
Does she mean feather boa?
Yeah. If you swallowed one of them,
Yeah,
you
you'd
would
be
be.
really
Yeah, God,
tickly.
that'd be so irritating if you swallowed one of them.
And a good question from 082. Boa, what if you turned sideways? Would it still be able to swallow you? How? Surely if you change your shape to be a bit more awkward, that would put it off, wouldn't it?
Make yourself bigger.
Yeah.
The trouble is you get a red card in the current FIFA rulings.
That's the
I don't think
problem.
that would work because they're tubular, aren't they?
Yeah, and also, it's
They're not like they're not like a big envelope. So if you go sideways, they won't get you in.
They are though, aren't they?
They're
Surely
not
if
like
you're
they are
sideways,
not
the
like a big
jaw-
envelope. Take that back.
They can't move their jaw wide. It's not like Wallace and Gromit or something where
yeah,
they
but
can...
in the same way you wouldn't eat a sausage side on. You'd just wait for it to turn round and then you'd.
Oh, I see what you
Yeah.
mean. I've never thought of eating a sausage side on.
No, because it would be ridiculous.
This will be great for the social media.
I thought at first you said
Side on sausage.
I thought at first you said a sausage Saigon. I thought it was a meal. You know, like baked Alaska.
Stir fry.
What would a sausage Saigon? It would rotate like the propeller of the helicopter in Miss Saigon. Anyway, they don't exist. Don't try and buy one. So on the same system, so boa constrictors clearly they do that. They do the squeezing thing.
Constructors.
Boa constrictors.
The,
Constrictors, yeah.
Bob the Builder of the snake world.
Yeah, that'd be good. Oh, we had a couple of boa constrictors and done a granny flat back at home.
Now we can't find Granny.
Yeah, of course, if Granny was flat, she'd be perfectly safe. Apparently, unless they roll them. Do they ever roll? Do bears hog, or is that a? Is that?
Oh, a bear hug.
Yeah,
Oh,
because whenever you
question.
hear of people being killed, remember that film when a bloke's killed by a bear at the end?
Grizzly Man. Recommended.
It just
Although
sounds
Frank's
like
just spoiled the end for you. You haven't seen it.
yeah. Oops. Yeah.
It was more gristly man at the end, wasn't it?
But he's ripped. I mean, he's not hogged, is he?
No.
He's clawed. I think it's got alfresco claws.
Yeah.
The bear. But do they? Is the hogging an urban myth? Because I think that's not their normal killing method for bears.
Hugging.
No, I think it's claws and teeth, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they would get you with both their claws, wouldn't they?
With
Isn't
both
it?
their claws.
Both their arms.
During the hook.
No, but isn't the idea that not like a boa constrictor?
That they squeeze you to death.
I think
no,
that-
I don't think that's true. Frank.
Isn't that true?
No, that's not
You
true.
don't think so?
No, that's not true.
I might let him
But it
back in.
doesn't.
I might let him back in bed then tonight. My teddy.
My brother used to live in Alaska, and you used to have to walk through the forest with bells in the summer
Oh,
because
yeah.
of the bears. And then apparently, when they ever found a dead bear, they'd open it up and they'd be full of bells. So
Really?
yeah, I don't know how. Yeah,
You see, I'd like to go there and not wear bells and be known and have a reputation for my courage. And then at the end of the year, get the Nobel Prize.
Ah!
Thank you.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Here's a question.
Oh.
Do you think anyone has ever been, say, in the jungle? Where do they live, the beacons?
beacons.
Central America.
Boa constrictors.
Central America, they live.
Yeah.
When you say beacons, you're saying bee-con as boa constrictor.
Yeah, like PCAP is Peter Capaldi.
Oh,
Yeah. It's taken me a while to untangle that. I thought it was a name for boa constrictor.
Yeah, beacons, as in J-Lo.
Yes. Well, I've got there in the end.
Yeah, okay. Do you think anyone has ever been in Central America and they got attacked by a wild dog or something, and thought, I'm going to perish from this wound, losing a lot of blood, and then they've seen a beacon and been able to use it as a tourniquet for saving their life?
I think we'd have read about it.
I'm going to write that as a
Yeah.
short
I mean,
story.
to be honest, we read about a beacon being in a Scottish patio, so
Anything's possible.
yeah.
I think we would have heard.
You'd need a fairly thin beacon.
806 has told us, hi Frank and team again. They don't squeeze. They don't have the energy to squeeze for a prolonged period. As you breathe in, they only close up, gradually preventing you from breathing
Out.
back out. You
I
suffocate.
see.
Like a marriage.
And then Chris has put
Wow.
after suffocate, Chris has put a colon and a bracket like a little smiley face.
Yeah.
After you suffocate.
I think he means that your colon ends up in brackets. Well, wow, that is... Of course, I suppose in the current climate, the squeezy animals are a bit unpopular.
Yeah.
The beacons and the bear hogs.
Yeah.
It's a bit, I think people would say, if I was standing on the street saying, can you save the bear? I know someone would say, a bit gropey.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I think
All
I don't...
paws.
I don't think it's a cool thing to be at the moment. Stick with the teeth, guys. That's my advice to the animal kingdom.
The thing about snakes, though, that I always feel sorry for them is halfway through the shedding of the skin. I just feel it's a very human moment. They must feel really self-conscious. Like,
Can they still move about halfway through the shedding?
I think they move to get it off, don't they?
Yeah, it'd be like having one leg out of your trousers.
Oh, yeah, I suppose.
That's a self-conscious moment, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
There must be a point where they look at it and
Would it be
they
more
can
like...
see it.
Do I look ridiculous?
This is so weird.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think. I wonder... I wish I know I kept a more detailed journal. I can't remember the last time I put 2 legs in the same trouser. I wish I'd marked that,
Yeah.
because that might never happen again. I think I'm too meticulous nowadays.
Do you?
I think it was when in my sort of more carefree, swashbuckling youth I used to
Right.
do it, because I used to get up with great gusto,
Yeah.
That was the magician I lived with at the time.
You did a lot of touring, didn't you, with great gusto?
Oh, yeah. But, oh, man, he was a very, very passionate man.
Frank Skinner.
Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
On the subject of song titles, we've had an email earlier from listener 2904 who said, The Beatles. Chris Evans definitely said on his show, it's just Beatles. One of you is wrong, hopefully him.
Well, I don't like to...
I like what you're bringing to it.
I don't like to... I wonder if you... had a car when he did the show. Anyway,
He had
He's
a
got loads of
hovercar.
cars, hasn't he? He's
Yeah.
got tons of them.
I think he's wrong because there is an album called With the Beatles.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think the Beatles would have let Parlophone bring out an album called With the Beatles if they were called Beatles.
With
If
Beatles.
if Blur brought out an album, they wouldn't call it With the Blur, would they?
No.
They'd call it With Blur.
Good.
Yeah.
Good
So,
point.
Yeah.
Good point, well made.
therefore,
Yeah.
I'm afraid it is the Beatles.
But then on some of the other albums where it says like Beatles, whatever it is, it doesn't have a the. So there's
Well, give me a par example.
Beatles.
Beatles for sale. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, Beatles Abbey Road.
But does it just say Beatles Abbey Road?
I'm thinking, I'm asking. I'm not
With the
really
I
telling.
think with the Beatles, that's the end of the
I'm
story.
playing
Yeah.
devil's advocate
That's
here.
okay. What, dark as how?
Yeah.
What say you?
Doesn't get a lot of references on
No.
commercial Saturday
No,
morning.
no longer with us, Darkus.
Um,
Yeah, that's sad. I was at a wedding with him once. We had an enormous row.
I
Yeah, about
can believe that.
about Rio Ferdinand, I think it was.
Oh, was it?
Really?
Yeah. You know, afterwards, he came up to me about at the end. We'd had a proper shouting row.
Mm-hmm.
He came up to me at the end and said, "I did enjoy that row." And I said, "Yeah, I suppose I did." He said, "Of course you did. It was a great row." There he went.
Was this during the ceremony?
No, it was during
Okay.
the after. I'll tell you what it was during. There was a bit between the ceremony and the meal where we, that sort of hiatus
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
between the two. So we
Limbo.
filled it with a big falling out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure what you're supposed to do in that bit of a wedding because it's.
I think that's what.
Just for rowing.
When Darkus is there, you're all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, find an
I don't know what
intellectual
they've done
round.
now.
Because you usually have a glass of fizz, but then that goes quite quickly if you're me.
I
And
can't-
then what do you do for the next hour and a bit? Just-
Don't you go
God.
to? I think I do that thing of really biting the bullet and thinking I'm going to talk to that person. I don't know who it
hone
is.
in on someone.
I don't know
Yeah.
how they're
Do you really?
related
Yeah,
to this,
yeah.
but I'm just going to go over and see
Have a
what
chat.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for you.
And sometimes it works out, and sometimes, like if it's a woman, a bloke will come over very quickly to see what's going on. But I think that's a good do. I usually I'll start with a hat.
Okay.
So I'll go over and say, "God, that's a really interesting hat." Or would you call it a fascinator? And then we're off.
Distractor. Yeah.
Very
A
good.
constrictor.
A distractor.
Constrictor.
I've never understood a fascinator. I'm going to a wedding soon, and
You're not going to wear a fascinator?
I'm so not. Can you imagine this in a fascinator? No.
What do you mean,
no.
this?
Look at
You mean
this
yourself?
in a fascinator.
You-
You're describing
Yeah.
yourself as
As
this.
this. Yes. That's my
Aim
chosen
higher.
pronoun. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
trouble is
rather
it doesn't
I give
work. It
people
doesn't
a
work
pep
on
talk.
radio because they can't imagine this.
Oh
They're gonna-
no, a fascinator. What is it? It's not a hat. It's not a feather. It's not. It's like an accident. It's just. It's like a
No,
sort of band-aid you've stuck on the side of your head.
I think it's a gesture.
It's a gesture of a hat. A
Yeah.
suggestion of a hat. I thought about getting a hat, but then I thought, oh no, I'll just get a fascinator.
Yeah.
It's just a.
What I'm going to get, I'm not going to get a hat, but I'm going to get a representative of a hat. Yeah, exactly.
A hat ambassador.
I'm going to get a travel hat.
A fold-down travel hat.
Anyway, look, we must get on.
A lot of people saying it's the Beatles, by the way, before we
Thank you
go,
very
just as a
much.
full stop. From now on, I'd like to be known as the Alan Cochrane.
I'm gonna stick with that.
Yeah.
Thank
You're
you.
known as the cockcross. You've
Yeah,
got a
true
bit.
enough. I'm close.
Thanks so much for listening this morning. Zoe, thanks. Always lovely to see you.
Always fun to be
And
here.
we'll see you soon, I hope. And if the good Lord spares us and the creeks don't rise, we'll all be back again this time next week. Now get out.
Frank Skinner